ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधिता भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्ददामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी।
So welcome to the 11th class. So we started the teaching of actual Bhagavad Gita in the 9th, and that is the 3rd class. So we shared about this one, creation from the 9th class onwards teaching, and last time I told that we will refer some Upanishadic quotations also. So the creation, Yajurveda Ishavasya Upanishad. First mantra itself, Ishavasyam idagam sarvam yat kinjat jagatyam jagad kena chakrena bunjita. God pervades the universe. And self-knowledge importance it is given. So the creation, as far as creation is concerned, God pervades the universe. And Chandogya tells, Aidadatmyam idagam sarvam tat satyam sa atma. Atma sustained the universe. Adhar is Atma. What is appearing is God. So these two things, definitely we shared this transaction reality, the appearance, and the absolute reality, Brahman. So Brahman is told in Chandogya, Atma sustain the universe. What is manifesting, unmanifesting is God. Ishavasya Upanishad is telling. So these two things are very important. Then when teaching started, this matter is so subtle. So this subtle teaching has to be, actually it is not taught. Whatever is not Atma, it is negated. And Atma being self-evident, the student will be able to understand under qualified student under an able teacher who experiences the benefits of Atma Jnana. When he teaches, the student will be able to get to know about the Atma, because Atma is self-evident. That is what. All other things other than Atma is negated, and Atma's lakshanas are told. That is Satyam Jnanam Anandam. So that is the way of teaching. That teaching words are only negating not self. Because this existence, consciousness, bliss, Satyam Jnanam Anandam, they are not attributes. They are not the properties of Atma. They are Atma. It is only Lakshana, Swarupa. So we cannot make you to experience Atma. You have to claim. Claiming is becoming not actually already Atma, but not knowing before that. After that we come to know that we are Atma, thereby getting benefits. So here the cognitive acceptance is only important. So that is what told in Kena Upanishad, na tatra chakshur gacchati na vak gacchati no manaha. There you cannot see, and listening also will not take you there, and also mind also will not go there, because all these things work because of Atma. Just like you cannot see your eyes without a mirror, the sight is the proof for the eyes. So like that, what we teach, what you listen, what you hear, the things you understand, you know that you are not understood. All these things happens because of consciousness Atma. So experiencer cannot experience the experiencer. So in a dark room, if you have got a torch, Swami Chinmayananda's example, if you want to know the old type of the torches, it will have batteries. So if torch is there, torch is able to be lighted. But if you want to see that brand of the cell, you cannot do that with the one torch, because if you remove the cell, the torch cannot glow. If you put the cell, torch will glow, but you cannot see the brand of the battery. Conversion type of torches. Similarly, here also, na chakshur gacchati, na vak gacchati, no manaha, na vidmaha, na vijanimaha. So this is Kena Upanishad about the teaching. So here teaching, what we are teaching is, see, I got some very funny question and answer. So, you see, when you meet a new person, if that person asks you, who are you, you will not be comfortable. But if he asks you, what are you, you may be little more comfortable. This is what in transaction reality. What are you means? I am a teacher, I am a IT professional, I am a manager. You are comfortable to reply. If the same person, who are you means this kind of interrogation type, or why you have come here. So all these things. So here also, in this also, we are trying to get to know what am I. There's a little different kind of interpretation than who am I, but Atma being not a male, not a female, it is Chaitanyam, consciousness, inner awareness. What am I or what are you is in Chandogya Tattvamasi. You are that. So that is Atma. So this kind of small introduction. Then we will go to the verses, and about the verses, yesterday night we have circulated a paragraph which contains the whole teaching of Vedanta, and also in the final I have written few lines how to make use of this, and that paragraph about 20-25 lines covers the teaching which is given in the second chapter, starting from the verse number 11 to 30, about 20 slokas. 11 we have already touched, so we will start from the sloka 12. 12 is combined with, I have given 2 slokas will be there, that 2 slokas we will take up together.
Chapter 2, verse 12. There was never a time I did not exist, neither you nor these kings, nor will any of us cease to exist in the future. That's the translation.
Now, this is one more sloka, no?
तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. Chapter 2, verse 30. Bharata, that is Arjuna, this Atman, The indweller of the bodies of all beings is ever indestructible. Therefore, you ought not to grieve for all those people. That's the translation.
Here these two slokas are combined. That is sloka number 12. Natvevagam yatunasam natvamne janadipa nachaiva nabhavishyamaha sarve ayamatabara. See, there was no time you were not there, nor I was there. There was no time that I was not there. So double negative. And these people, Bhagavan is showing the army and telling these people, there was no time that these people were not. Double negative means at the same time in the future also. So what does this mean? It is not from the point of bodies. So the same thing is reflected in the sloka number 30, I think. There also all the beings are equated. It is never possible from the point of appearance. Not only human beings, all the living beings, but inner beings we will discuss separately. So when it comes to here, the kings he is telling, the kings, you and me, there was no time that you did not exist. So double negative. So we always exist. So it is from the point of Atma. So Atma never dies. It is birthless. It is endless. So if we give an example, there was considered a dream. In the dream, there is a fight going on. So the soldier is told to shoot the opponents. A group of soldiers. But this fighter is hesitating, how can I shoot, all of them will die. So this commander is telling, in the dream, within the dream, there is no time that these people were not existing. What is that time? That is double negative is waking period. The total dream is negated. The dream soldiers, the shooter, the shot, everything is negated when the dream goes away. So at that time, what is there? In the waker period, consciousness exists. During the dream, the mind is projected as the person who is shooting and the group of people who are there to fight. When the dream goes away, everything goes. So what is remaining is consciousness. So consciousness only at the back of the mind, which projects everyone. So without consciousness, there is no shooter or there is nothing to be shot. So all these things are sustained by consciousness. But you see the uniqueness. So here Arjuna's dilemma is, Bhishma is my grandfather, Drona is my guru, others cousins, okay. So Bhishma is Bhishma because of what? Drona is Drona because of what? Arjuna is Arjuna because of what? Just think over this. This I thought of questioning my people also. How the uniqueness comes. The basic reason for uniqueness, fundamental reason for uniqueness. Uniqueness means what? Bhishma behaves like Bhishma. Drona is Guru. Arjuna is great master of Arjuna. So how this uniqueness comes? Once the life principle goes away, all are dead bodies, inert matter. Only and only in the presence of consciousness, the life reflects, and because of life only, Arjuna behaves like Arjuna, Bhishma is Bhishma, and Drona is Drona. So, the uniqueness itself, only because of that uniqueness, Arjuna's confusion. He is my grandfather. On his lap, I grew. He is my teacher, unique. He only taught me the Vidya. How can I shoot him? This is the uniqueness, it is confusing Arjuna. But what is the reason for uniqueness? Not the body. Only consciousness. You and everyone is consciousness. So nothing other than consciousness. That is what this combined sloka 12 and 30 combined together is telling. Okay, now another set of slokas. We will go to the next two sets. 2.5.
कौमारं यौवनं जया तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते. Chapter 2, verse 13. Just as for the Jiva, the indweller of this body, there is childhood, youth and old age, similar is the gaining of another body. With reference to that, a wise person does not come to grief. That's the translation.
One more Savana.
Chapter 2, verse 22. Just as a person gives up old clothes and takes up new ones, so does the self, the one who dwells in the body, gives up old bodies and takes others which are new. That's the translation.
So here two slogas. One is within a person's life, and another is life after life. See, a person, that is childhood, adulthood, youth, middle age, old age, then dies and takes another body. So within the one person's life, the changes are there. 6 types of changes that is already discussed in our this class. That is asti, jayate, vartate, viparinamate, apakshiyati, vinashyati. That is present, that's a fetus, then jayate, birth, then growth, then metamorphism, then declension, then vinashyati. These changes are happening to the body. But a person is aware of his youth or childhood. He doesn't reject his childhood and youth. In the old age, the person doesn't reject the middle age. So, in Dakshinamurti Sahasram also we share the same thing. Balya Dishwavi Jagada Dishdala. So there also how you are able to recollect unless otherwise you have got the changeless awareness. So this changeless awareness, Atma, doesn't die. That takes up the another body. Tattva Mukhya means that person does not delude, who knows the truth. Just like change of the body's condition from boy to childhood to old age, once the body dies, means when the soul finds out, soul means I am telling that is that with notion that body is not fit to stay, it takes up another body. So the person who knows this, he will not delude over the body. So this is all taught to Arjuna, so that he will know about the difference between body and the spirit, so that he has to start fighting the opposite army. The another example is direct example there. It is Vasamsi Jirnani Yada Vihaya. That is about the dress a person change. The dresses are compared to different bodies. So, soul taking up different bodies here. There is one person, different periods of the lifetime. Here, one soul taking different bodies. Both are finally narrowed down to the one thing, that the Atma takes up the body and experiences through the body, and subtle body experiences at the place of gross body, all these things there. But final experiencer is Atma. But there is one catch is there, it doesn't change. That will be discussed in different slokas. So here the example is an actor taking. You can have two kinds of example. Actor in one film, he acts for 3 months, taking the role of an individual, boyhood, adulthood, middle age, old age, whatever may be. So he will act for some time, go to his place with his family, again put up that role, then acts again 3 months shooting. He showed you in 3 hours. So the time changes is there, time change, scale of time. That's another example of movies. So that one person taking one role in different periods. That is example for boyhood, middle age, old age. Another example, one actor acting for a period of 10 years taking different roles. Here also the same thing, Dehinosmin Yada Dehi example. Both example is possible with the actor and the role here. In the previous one, dream. Here, the actor role. These two things are very, very prominent examples. Dream, waker, sleeper, one set of example. And another is actor role, multiple role or same role. These two examples you remember. And these examples you can make use for reaping the benefits also. So that we will see in the coming classes. These two slogas are one set. Then next set of sloga we will cover. Next set of slogas.
2.26.
Chapter 2, verse 60. For the unreal, that is Mithya, there is never any being. For the real, there is never any non-being. The ultimate truth of both, the real and the unreal, is seen by knowers of the truth. That's the translation.
This is a very subtle matter is told in the initial stage of the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 16th verse. The unreal never exists, the real never perishes. The seers of the truth can make the difference in understanding. Real and unreal. Atma, Anatma. Here how the Bhagavad Gita started? We started the chapters initially, that is preparatory procedures, then Karma Yoga. Preparatory procedures and Karma Yoga is Tvam Pada. You. Predominantly, first 6 chapters, Karma Yoga is covered, and preparatory procedure is covered from here and there, but that is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita, but that is told to you. Preparatory procedures cited from 13th chapter and 16th chapter, but it is already communicated to you, that is you have to implement. Then afterwards we discussed about the creation and God. So that is Tatpada. So here in the Tatpada we brought creation also, Jagat also. So first is Jiva, then here Jagat and Ishvara. That is in the 8th chapter, 3rd and 4th sloka, followed by 7th chapter, 4th sloka to 12th sloka. That is God and creation. So Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara is the format. Now in the teaching we are bringing Atma, Anatma format. So the difference is very important to know. That will be known only, that can be known only if you can understand the 7th chapter, 12th sloka. That is the whole creation he explained, then everything is in me, I am not in any one of them. So this is the most subtlest thing, reality difference. Higher reality and lower reality, or absolute reality and transaction reality. We are not bringing the subjective reality here. Subjective reality is dream. Dream is taken as an example, dream and waker. So that is for discussing and understanding you can take real and unreal. With respect to dream, waker is real. With respect to waker, Atma is real. Now we are in a waking period. So this is unreal with respect to the absolute reality. So here what is told that the unreal never exists. Asat. Not non-existing. The dependent existing. Dependent existence. So here actually in Vedanta a long discussion is there. So anything, science also we can bring here, that is the advantage nowadays. Otherwise in normal Vedanta logic, we tell the items, the computer is, remote is, laptop is. So that is common in all these things. So when you see an item, computer, you can tell computer is. The computer goes away, another thing comes, chair, chair is. That isness which pinpoints an item is the existence, nature of Atma. That is the thing in this verse you have to understand, the real. Whether it is a building or a mountain or a river, when you analyze them, they can be broken down. So here one famous Gada Bhashya is there, that is taking the example of the pot. If you have different pots you can have in hand, and pot was not there before, pot will not be there afterwards. But before pot came and after pot is destroyed, clay remains. So with respect to pot, clay is Satya, pot is Mithya. Pot is unreal, clay is real. With respect to pot and clay, because this Gada Bhashya is a famous one, Adi Shankara takes up, I don't want to miss it. This is a Bhagavad Gita class. So this example can be given other taking into account other things also, but we will little more analyze this pot and clay. See, the pot, when you touch the pot, are you touching the pot or clay? Actually you are touching the clay. Then from where the pot came? It is a form given to the clay. Similarly, the pot does not have an existence on its own. Pot borrows the existence from something. So that is what clay. Because pot's weight is clay's weight. If you remove mentally, cognitively, the clay from the pot, there will be nothing existing other than clay. Pot will not be there. The pot's weight is clay's weight. So this is the example with the pot and clay. There's a dialogue and everything is there. You can see in the Google. Puts on the answers very elaborately. Tells about many pots, small pot and big pot, as if they are discussing. Initially, the small pot is jealousy about the big pot. But when the small pot understands that it is non-different from the big pot with respect to clay, it is cheerful. So it's a big dialogue, 10 minutes dialogue, you can see. Always my wife. Very interesting thing.
It's a put it in the life class.
So that's what he mimics two voices, as a small pot also and a big pot also. It's a very interesting thing in that time. So this reveals a big truth that everything appearing in the universe, they are not different from the existence nature of Atma or Brahman. So what is this existence nature? What is this Atma? What is the real? So we tell in Vedanta, Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That is existence, consciousness, infinite. They are the nature, Lakshana. For explanation, describing, they are not the guna, they are not the quality, they are not the attribute. Attribute means blue flower, blue is an attribute. So this is Lakshana of Atma, Swarupa Lakshana. So Atma is taught in form of Swarupa Lakshana, but you cannot experience it, you have to claim it. So what is this three things mainly told, but so many other aspects also, untouchable, unaffected, unobjectifiable, that is stable, non-changing, all the things will be there. But in addition to that, these three things are clearly told in Satyam, Jnanam and Brahma, in Taittiriya also. So, what I give an example, I give means I have learned only, but I have extended to so many aspects. So, when you sleep, deep sleep state, your jnanendriyas, instrument of knowledge is not working, instrument of action is not working, your individuality is gone, duality also not there. There is no duality, no individuality, no ahankara, no mamakara. Everything gone, but you are available. So just now you cannot experience your sleep. You cannot deny your sleep. Few hours a day, how can you deny? But you cannot experience. So analyze it. How these three can be one. During sleep, you are not aware that you are sleeping, but after sleep, definitely you are aware of the time lag. This is the difference between anesthesia, murcha, that is fainting, and sleep. During anesthesia, I have undergone surgery more than once. We know the time where it is in operation theatre. Next moment, get up in the room. You will not feel the time lag. But during deep sleep, you feel the time lag after you get up. So what is that time lag? How you are aware? When mind is not working, then your jnanendriyas are not working. Unless otherwise, something is awake, aware of the sleeping period. Time lag. I am not telling how many hours. Time lag. that you are aware after you slept. How much time you may have to see the watch. So something was aware during the sleep that prompts the mind, which was passive during sleep, and the mind understands and tells. So what was awake? That is the Chidabhasa, the reflection of Atma in the subtle body. This reflection was there during sleep, mind was passive. Once wake up, that reflection prompts the mind understands that it had a good sleep. So that awareness, because of that reflected awareness, was awake. The reflected awareness happens because of the all-pervading Atma, but it reflects in the subtle bodies, not in the walls and buildings. In the subtle body, it reflects Chidabhasa. That we call Sakshi Chaitanyam also. That in the benefit stage, I got some idea that we will share. Once you own up that Sakshi Chaitanyam, witness consciousness, you will not be affected by anything in the world, by your job or by your family problem. Nothing can affect you. That if possible we will elaborate today, otherwise we will share in the benefit stage. Now we will come to real and unreal. How Atma is existence, consciousness and infinite. So during sleep there is a time lag, but this 24 hours time was not there. Then once you wake up, 24-hour time scale comes, either with sunrise or whatever you call, whatever you find once you wake up regarding the time. So what is that? First of all, awareness was there during the sleep. That prompts you that you have slept. That is consciousness. Now how it becomes existence and infinite, we have to say. Same thing. Because during sleep, you are not aware of time. Once you get up, you are aware of time. So what was happening to time scale during your sleep? It was in you as you were the consciousness, Atma. It is Atma, but because you are in the body, we call it Paramatma. But time resolves in you during your sleep, and time originates when you wake up. During sleep, you are not aware of the time. Similarly, during sleep, you don't know where you sleep. Once you get up, sometime we ourselves say, oh, we are sleeping in this room, a surprise will be there. Otherwise also, in all deep sleep, you are not aware of the place you sleep. You don't have a location during sleep. You are there, you don't have location. What does it mean? Take the example of space. Space is there, space does not have location. You cannot cut a little bit space from here and take it to some place and keep it. You cannot do that. Space is all pervading. Similarly, during sleep, you are available, you don't have location, so you are all pervading. This all pervadingness is a very peculiar thing. It doesn't mean that you are pervade the whole world. The whole universe is in you during your sleep. The world emerges from you. So, what is that? Time is not there during sleep, time comes when you awake. Space is not there in your sleep, place of sleep you don't know, place comes out when you are awake. So, time and space resolves in you during your original state of consciousness in sleep. When you wake up, time scale comes and space comes. Now you see everything in the World, not world, universe. Everything in the universe is inside time and space. But you are beyond. You are transcending that. Because beyond means you are not after that. You are transcending. You are in and through that. So, the total universe is in you. The existence of the universe in you. So, the same awareness consciousness is non-different from existence. Scientifically, we see, break down any mountain. Why to take a building? Mountain you break down, it's a matter, substance, molecules, atoms, proton, neutron, subatomic particles, energy. Then particle or waves, it is not certain. How it is not certain? You are aware of that. Awareness is there. Because of the awareness only, it is uncertain. So awareness sustains the particles. Awareness presupposes the waves. So mountain is reduced to awareness. Similarly, anything, including your body, physical body. So, this is one way of understanding that existence principle is non-different from consciousness. Now, another way of understanding this is that from the point of the intrinsic nature and the incidental nature. See, when there was no time during your sleep, you transcend the time. When you transcend the time, you are timeless. Also spaceless, but timeless we will see. When you are timeless, you are eternal. This eternal nature, you see, how can the eternal nature comes without existence being its intrinsic nature? See, fire's intrinsic nature is heat. When the fire is there, heat will be there. Heat is its intrinsic nature. So, the eternal thing should have existence as its intrinsic nature. Unless otherwise, existence is the intrinsic nature of the eternal entity. It is not eternal. Think over that. So, being eternal is existence. This is another way of understanding how the consciousness itself is existence. Very nice logical analysis. Eternal should have existence as its intrinsic property. Now another thing is that infinite. During sleep, you are spaceless. When you get up, you understand you are sleeping. Your place comes, space comes. Another thing, dream space is sustained by your waking space. Another way of understanding that you are all pervading, but that we will not see. Just a simple thing, you don't have location during sleep. I told you, you are there, you are locationless, but you are there, but so you are all pervading. So you transcend the space. So when you transcend the space, you are all pervading, but the whole universe is in you. So you are infinite also. Infinite also. Infinite from the point of time, from the point of space, and from the point of all the things in the universe. Desha, Kala, Vastu, Pachana means all things are included in you. Time, space and everything in the universe. As Atma, this is what? Real. So all other things are unreal. Even sun and moon, once in millions of years, they will dissolve in during Pralaya. That's what Upanishad says. And some Big Bang theory and everything can take, but that will not lead you to singularity. So consciousness, from there it emerges, and it's cyclic process, appearance and disappearance based on causation. So that separately we'll take up, because causation theory and everything when it comes. But this appearance disappearance is given only that much of reality. But when you take it as real, it will bother you. That's what last few lines I have written in the paragraph. We are part of this cosmic drama. Understand the drama and play the role, and make it as an entertainment without getting affected. So as Atma, you are not affected. Those things will come in other things. So with real and unreal, this explanation is a little bit I have given you. The real, that is awareness, consciousness, never perishes. The unreal never exists. This is known to the Tattva Darshinaha, the seers of the truth. So, when you for ending now, how the consciousness is predominant in your stages, different stages you can say. Stages means states. Existence is predominant during waking state. Existence, the existence of the universe. Consciousness is predominant during dream, awareness. Of the light of consciousness, only the dream world. From where the light comes. There, within that awareness, consciousness, existence, dream world is there, but predominant consciousness. During deep sleep, Ananta, the infinite. Also, the infinite things in the universe also, another manifestation of Ananta. Ananta is Ananda. Ananda means everything. You don't have a second thing. When you don't have a second thing, you have nothing to fear. That is Ananda. Another actual example is sleep is Ananda. So you are that existence, consciousness, Ananta, Ananda, Satchit Ananda. This is only real, and everything is unreal. That is known to the realizing person. Yeah. Now this is 16th chapter, 16th sloka. 850. Yeah. The next one is
270.
अविनाशितु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति.
Chapter 2, verse 17. Know that by which this entire world is pervaded, to be indeed indestructible. No one can bring about the destruction of that which does not change. That's the translation.
almost what we discussed, that will, same thing will continue here also. So, pervading, you can even say the dream world is pervaded by the waker's world. That is another example. You in the dream you are seeing your working place, your office, or your other place, your native place. How all these things can be accommodated inside your bedroom. Imagine. You are seeing your village, you are seeing your previous office. These things cannot be included inside the bedroom. How you are able to go into that dream world with your dream body? So the dream world is pervaded by the waker's mind. The mind's projection, no? So the projection is pervaded by consciousness. That's what ultimate understanding. Similarly, the waker's world also pervaded by the consciousness. So Bhagavan is teaching that when everything is pervaded by consciousness, you are that consciousness. What is bothering you to fight? So that is one thing in many of the slokas. Another thing you will again ask is, there is nothing to grieve. There is nothing to grieve. These two things will be repeated in the 20 slokas, starting from 11 to 30. Either Nakaschit Arasi, otherwise with this you start fighting. These two things are, most of the slokas are ending with these two things. Either asking Arjuna to fight because there is no difference between you and others as Atma, and And another thing is there is nothing to grieve because you are not doing that. Kartritvam will come in some other slokas. As Atma, you are not doing the actions, you are free from actions, and also other things you are as Atma, you cannot objectify it. This is 17. Another time is there or one more set? Next is what?
52 times.
Next one, the next set is
2.18 and 20.
2.18, 25, you will complete that at least. 2.18 and 2.25.
अन्तवन्तकिमे देवाः नित्यद्योक्ताशरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत.
Chapter 2, verse 18. These bodies of the embodied one, that the self, which is not subject to change and destruction, and which is not available as an object of knowledge, are said to be subject to end. Therefore, Bharata, that is Arjuna, get up and fight. That's the translation.
One more sloka is that, 25.
अव्यक्तोऽयमचिन्त्योऽयम् अविकार्योऽयमुच्यते तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं नानुशोचितुमर्हसि.
Chapter 2, verse 25. This self is said to be unmanifest, not an object of thought, and not subject to change. Therefore, knowing this, you ought not to grieve. That's the translation.
See the unobjectifiable. It's a very important aspect of Atma. You cannot objectify the Atma. It is not any item. It is not any attribute. You can objectify the attribute. Objectify means you can perceive, you can experience. But Atma cannot be objectified. So that is the reason we always tell science cannot prove Atma. Because science is based on Atma. I always tell. Science investigate various happenings in the world. There is an order. And science produces laws and extends it to other things and analyze other things in various forms of science, either physical science, chemical science, medical science. It makes use for the welfare and everything. So that is very good. But science cannot prove God because science is based on God. Science is based on these laws. So science cannot objectify it. Any kind of instrument, microscope or electron microscope, whatever thing, any kind of instrument can perceive only the objects, like a particle, like a wave. But that microscope or any instrument you use, what you are going to perceive should be the other side. But Atma is this side of the microscope, this side of the instrument. How you can objectify yourself other than being Atma, witness consciousness. As witness consciousness, you are observing your mind. But consciousness, you cannot objectify. So this is a very good example, microscope. You are this side of the microscope. Whatever, microscope means instrument. You are this side of the objectifying instrument. The other side you can objectify, you can analyze, you can make laws, you can investigate. You are the perceiver, you are the drip, you are the observer, you are the experiencer. That's what Puja Swami says. When pain is there, when I am feeling the pain, I am observing the pain, I am experiencing the pain. When I am experiencing the pain, I am experiencer. I am not the pain. That is the beauty of one of the most difficult situation of life. The pain and struggle of the body. When the body is struggling, when you are able to understand, you are different from that struggle. You are not struggling. You are not struggling. These kind of things, I got an idea I was sharing. This kind of not objectifying with the problems, you can solve it by just claiming the witness consciousness. Witness consciousness, Sakshi Chaitanya, that is so prominent in you during waking, during dream, during sleep. All the three states, it is so obvious. You need not go to Atma. Just get to that witness consciousness. I know that I know English. I know that I don't know Chinese. I remember this. I have forgotten this. What is the first eye? What is the second eye? The first eye is witness consciousness. The second eye is your buddhi or your body or your mind or your possession or your position or your transaction or your relationship. So the second eye. The first eye is observing without change. Just claim it. That is only available during sleep and dream. What makes you to remember the dream? That one. What makes you to remember the sleep? Witness consciousness. But during sleep, you are not having any worry. Painkiller. During waking period, a person is having pain. Painkiller is given. During sleep, you won't feel the pain. After getting up, yeah, at least 4 hours I slept without pain. Pain is not felt during deep sleep, even with painkiller. But your awareness is there. That is witness consciousness. So it is obvious that witness consciousness is not affected by pain also. Not only it is not affected by the fluctuations in your family or your finance or your position, anything your witness consciousness is not affected, just claim it. You cannot objectify that also. You claim it. That's what it is, non-objectifiable. Witness consciousness itself is not objectifiable. Then how can you objectify the consciousness? In a lighted room, if you keep a mirror, it will flash. The flash is because of the light in the room. The flash depends upon the mirror, the flash depends upon the light. But the light is independent. The light is consciousness, Atma. The reflection in the mirror is the reflected consciousness of Chidabhasa Sakshi Chaitanya. So that witness consciousness is non-objectifiable. That itself is sufficient to get rid of most of your problems in life. With this one, we will, I think, around nearing 9 o'clock, we will stop it, and I think we will continue. A few more things are there in the next class. And if possible, we will take up the benefits also in the next class. Some of them already told you. Or we will continue with the other slokas. It is nearing 9?
9.
9. So we will end with the mantra. Om
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om